Hello and welcome along to Adobe After Effects with your host Robert Smith. In this little exercise we're going to put a scene together like a teaser for the band AC/DC. Now I don't know if you're an AC/DC fan, who knows, and I must admit I pinched the logo off Google Images just for this exercise. There is no commercial value, this is just for students to play around with. Okay, so having said that, let's get stuck into it. The first thing I'm going to do is go to File, Import File, like this, and I've got an AC/DC Photoshop file there. I'm going to bring it in as a composition like this. Might as well retain my layer styles. I'll click OK, and we'll OK for that as well. Okay, let's double click on that composition, and there it is, the beautiful AC/DC logo. And as you can see, it's in 5 different layers down here like this. We're going to have a little bit of fun animating, so let's start. The first thing I'm going to do is convert them all to 3D layers like that, just by dragging down under that 3D icon there, like this. And I'll work on the top layer, which is the A. We'll start there. So I'll just twirl that down to the transform, and I'll move that up a little bit. Okay. What I want to do, I want to rotate it on the Y-axis. So I'm going to put a keyframe in the start, and I'll set it to be looking like that at about 35 degrees is fine, like that. Then I'm going to go along to about a second, about here, like that. And here, actually that was minus 35, so I'm just going to type in 35 to have the exact opposite. So now what we've got is a swinging letter A in the Y rotation. So I'm going to copy those 2 frames, Command C, drag the marquee over and paste them, Apple V, like this. And I'll just paste them. I'm sure there's a quicker way of doing this. Maybe if I select them again, copy the whole lot, move to about here, you can copy a lot quicker. Okay, so let's have a look at that. I'll just do a RAM preview. And now I've got a swinging A. That's a bit dodgy the first time through, but that's what we want. Fantastic. Okay, and to save myself a lot of trouble, I'm just going to copy all those keyframes, Command C, like that. And I'll close up this top layer. And I'll drag my current time indicator back to the start, like this. And I'll go to the next layer down. In fact, I don't even have to open up the layer. I'm just going to select the layer and move along just a little bit, like that, and then paste them in. So they'll be just a little bit offset. Select the next layer down, drag along a little bit, and Apple V. Next layer along, just select it like that and move along a little bit, and Apple V to paste them. I'm just pasting the same keyframes but just a little bit offset, just to get a bit of variety in the way they swing. So Apple V like that. Let's have a look what that looks like. And now they're all going to swing like that for about 20 seconds. Bit quick the first time through. Okay, and I'll start from left to right, which is what we want. And they're a little bit offset. If I can open up one of these layers, you'll see it has exactly the same keyframes, just starting a little bit later. Okay, let's add a solid, let's add a background to what's going on. So to do that, I'm going to hold the Control key down and go click just in this little area here and go for New Solid. Now the solid I want, I'm going to make it a sort of this color green. I always change that later if I like. So I'll click OK like that and OK. Now I need to make that a 3D layer by clicking here like this. Now this is an interesting situation. If I was to play this, you'll see, and this may happen to you when you're playing in the 3D world, you might get this effect. And that simply means that the letters and the solid are in exactly the same Z space. So we need to fix that. We need to move them away a little bit. So to do that, I don't really have to have them in any order here because they're 3D layers, but I'm going to grab that and just drag it to the background. I should really rename it, but okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to 2 views like this, 2 views horizontal. So now looking on the left hand side here from the top, and on the right hand side we're seeing what the camera or the active camera is seeing. So let's move that solid back into space. To do that, I'm going to click on Transform, go to the 3rd number like this, and I'm going to give it a minus number, so it's going to go away from the active camera. I'm just dragging that to the left, and on the left hand side you can see what's happening. It's going out into space, and that's about far enough. But I need to scale it up now because it's a bit small to fill the area, so I just drag the scale up a little bit on the same layer, and we're away. Now, to add a little bit of interest to it, I'm going to use one of the effects and presets I really like, which is Mr. Mercury. I don't know where they got that name from, but it's a great effect. I'm going to grab it and just drag it simply onto the solid, like this, and if we were to play it, we'll see what's happening. Mr. Mercury explodes behind the typography, and looking quite good. Okay, now I'm going to play around with Mr. Mercury's properties over here. Right now he's exploding this green plastic, whatever it is, junk, and it's sort of falling over. So I'm going to go to the gravity thing over here. There's a gravity option. Now I need to put my current time about there so I can see what's going on. I'm going to go to gravity and just put it like this up to about 0.2 like that, and now you'll see it explodes straight at you, which is what we want. Okay, now how about a bit of velocity? In other words, how fast it does it, like that. Very nice. Up that a little bit, and we might look at, what else can we look at in here? They're the two main things I was looking at. Maybe birth rate we can look at to make them a little bit bigger, and very nice indeed. So that's basically the look I want. I want this thing exploding behind the back, the lettering, if you like. Let's play that now with a RAM preview. Very nice indeed. Okay, we want that to cast some shadows, but to make it a little bit more interesting, to do that, I'm going to need another solid. So I'm going to Control, click, and New Solid, like this. And this time I'll make it a bit darker. In fact, quite dark indeed. And again, I'll convert that to a 3D layer. And I need to take it out into space. And as it's going to be the background, I'll just drag it down. Now, I don't have to do that, but it just makes more sense in your layer structure to do that. So I'm just going to move it out past Mr. Mercury. And if we look on the left-hand side, we can see how far we've gone. Apple minus here. There it is. That's perhaps a little bit too far we've gone. So I'll just bring it back a little bit using that third number in position over here. Okay, great. Again, I'll have to scale that up. I should have done that. I'll go in here and scale it so it fills up the whole background, which is exactly what we want. Okay, now let's add some real drama. Let's add a light. So to do that, I'm going to hold the Control key down and click, and go to New Light. And I want a spotlight with intensity up that to about 80. And let's just see what this looks like. Make sure it says Cast Shadows here. Okay, that's a little bit too dark, so I'll double click on that light layer again, and I'll up the intensity just a little bit, and the cone angle as well, like that. And the feather might feather it out just that little bit. Very nice indeed. That cone angle should be going up. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to swing that light. So to do that, I want to swing it like this. Just the way the letters were, that's why I'm making it look a little bit too dark. But as they swing to the front, they lighten up, which is quite a nice effect. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I think it needs a little bit of ambient light, but we'll sort that in a minute. Now, what I want to do, I want the Mr. Mercury things to be casting shadows on the background. So to do that, I'm going to click on the Mr. Mercury layer here, like this, and go down to its material options and turn Cast Shadows on, like that, and it will give us, let's have a look at that. As you can see now, the Mr. Mercury has a shadow, and we'll do the same for the lettering as well. So what I'm going to do there, I'm going to twirl that back up, select all the layers with the letters on them like that, Now if I open them up, open material options, it'll open the material options for all of those layers, and I'll just turn cast shadows on. And that'll do it for all of those layers now, and I'll twirl it back up. And let's have a look how that's looking. Very dramatic. Okay, now what I need to do is I'll go back to one view so we can have a closer look at it. And I'll drag this down a bit so we get a bigger screen. And let's have a look. Okay, quite some interesting shadows happening there. Okay, I think the lettering's just a little bit just too in the dark, so let's sort that out a bit by going in here and adding another light. Hold the control key down, new light, like this. And let's make it an ambient light this time. And I'll drop the intensity back a little bit. Let's have a look what that looks like. Far too much. What an ambient light does, it lights up the whole scene. And that's not what we're really after. We're after something about there. So again, in After Effects, it's all just playing with the numbers and see what happens. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's about what I'm looking for. It's quite dark. Now I'll add an AC/DC track behind that, and it'll look quite dramatic. That could be the first 2 or 3 seconds of a teaser that would go on the internet. It'd probably have some dates on it, it'll explode into dates or whatever. But there's just a nice way of using a bit of type and using one of the generators, Mr. Mercury, and using lights and shadows. Okay, thanks for watching.